Good evening, America, and welcome to this Just the News, Real America's Voice special report, Preserving Prosperity for Our Future Generations. I'm your host, John Solomon. Tonight, in partnership with our sponsor, Heritage Action for America, we're going to explore the battle being waged all across this nation to restore parents' rights to decide their children's education. Now, that fight includes making sure parents have the freedom to choose the best setting for that education to occur with yours and my tax dollars. Now, this battle began just over a decade ago when liberal activists began partnering with left-leaning teachers unions and local, state, and federal bureaucrats to try to tilt the balance of power in schools. Their goal, well, it's been to make the government a co-parent for your children and grandchildren. Now, these efforts have manifested themselves on everything from critical race theory being injected into school curriculum to young women being forced to share their bathrooms, locker rooms, and sports competitions with biological males. But starting in 2021, a remarkable revolution was spawned all across this country, from Virginia to Oklahoma and Florida to New Hampshire, and most recently in Arkansas. Now, parents are engaging in historic ways to gain control of the decisions of their school boards, and legislatures are empowering families with new parental right laws, universal school choice programs, and education savings accounts, or ESAs, that allow families to contribute to their children's learning. This year alone, more than 15 states have proposed ESA bills. However, as of today, only 5 have active programs, which means there's a lot more work to be done. Tonight, we're going to explore with the leaders of this parent empowerment movement and the work they're trying to accomplish, like strengthening our current public school systems, instilling faith in home, private and charter schooling, making school choice universal, and protecting children from highly sexualized or perverse ideologies in the classroom. Over the next hour, we'll be hearing from grassroots leaders, policy experts, and appointed and elected officials on how America is pushing ahead to make classrooms better, parents more empowered, and students more successful. And with that said, our first guest tonight was appointed by the governor of Missouri to become the state's newest attorney general, and ever since day one, he's taken decisive action. Just recently, he called for a moratorium on puberty blockers and also launched an investigation after receiving credible testimony and corresponding documentation from a whistleblower who used to be employed at the Transgender Center at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Attorney General Andrew Bailey is on the front lines, and he joins us now to discuss this investigation. General Bailey, great to have you on the show, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we've been fascinated watching all the work you've done. Just a few weeks ago, you announced a moratorium on puberty blockers for children. A lot of applause for that. Tell us what's behind that and the reaction in your state to it.
Well, we've gotten a whistleblower that's come forward from a pediatric transgender clinic in the city of St. Louis who tells us that there's some really frightening things that are going on. And this is a whistleblower that describes really what constitutes child abuse disguised as medicine. But we know it's a woke left-wing agenda. They're more interested in pushing a left-wing agenda and a social issue than they are about actually helping kids. And so we're standing up and fighting back, and we're going to hold people accountable. I mean, this is a whistleblower who volunteered to work at a pediatric transgender clinic because she believes in transgender rights. By her own admission, she's a progressive who's married to a transgender man. And so when she says these things are happening, we've got to take them seriously. And if even 1/10 of the allegations are true, this is child abuse, not medicine. And so we're going to continue to fight to protect kids in the state of Missouri and make sure parents know what's going on at these clinics.
Yeah, it is so important, and you've brought so much transparency in such a short period of time. There's some legislation going on in the Missouri legislature that really is empowering parents and trying to reassert the parents' authority from teachers, unions, school districts. Tell us a little bit about the legislature as being a partner with you in trying to get common sense policies for parents in the great state of Missouri.
Well, as the law firm for the state of Missouri, I'm in constant contact with our lawmakers. I enforce the laws that they give us, and we are empowered by the people's elected representatives in the General Assembly to do our jobs. And so it's important that we stay in touch with them and explain to them where loopholes or gaps might exist in the law. Look, at the end of the day, the General Assembly can't contemplate the depths of depravity of the left. And so it's important that we stay in touch as we see issues pop up in the courtroom or in society at large, that we address those in the General Assembly, that they keep pace with the depravity of the left. And so it's important to stay in touch and we keep them updated. And at the end of the day, education in Missouri is going to be about education, not indoctrination. And parents are always going to have a voice in that process. I'm going to stand up and fight to protect that voice. I'm really excited about the Parents' Bill of Rights that's moving through the General Assembly right now. And I'm confident they'll give us another great product this year that's going to empower parents to be involved in their kids' education.
it's so important. Over the last year, your office has scored a lot of wins in cases where teachers have been subjected to critical race theory training that were insulting and demeaning. Students were given lessons that clearly alienated the good intention of their parents. Talk about some of the early victories that your office has been able to score.
Well, we stay on the hunt for any abuses of the curricular mandates given to us by the General Assembly. Look, statute guides curriculum in the state of Missouri. And so if it's not authorized in statute, it is prohibited. And so I look at something that happened recently in the Columbia, Missouri public school system a few months ago. That kids were taken to a diversity and inclusion celebration, and a drag show was part of that quote unquote celebration. And so middle school kids, 10, 11, 12-year-olds were exposed to a drag show by public school educators. And so we fought to hold them accountable and empower parents, because at the end of the day, the statute that guides how human sexuality is to be taught in school does not authorize drag shows. Drag shows have no place in public education. And so we stood up and fought back and made sure that parents knew what was going on and that they had the tools and resources they need to empower themselves to put a stop to it.
Yeah, so very important. One of the cities that has a big bullseye on it for a lot of liberal experimentation, St. Louis. You recently removed the circuit attorney there, the chief prosecutor, Kimberly Gardner. Tell us a little bit about how that has a downstream effect in really protecting parents and families' interest in the school district from some of the things that she was trying to impose.
Yeah, this is a radical left-wing prosecutor, Soros-backed prosecutor who refuses to do her job, refuses to enforce the law. And so to me, it's about the rule of law and finding justice for victims. I come from a prosecutor's office. This is not something I take lightly, but it's important to make sure that we're upholding the rule of law and fighting for justice for victims. And instead of protecting victims, she's creating more victims by refusing to do her job. So we're going to hold her accountable. We filed suit several weeks ago. She has responded to that suit, and the litigation is ongoing. We anticipate going to court this week to kick that process off, and we're going to hold her accountable for refusing to do her job.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a chance to do that as well. I got to sue her a year or two ago for documents she refused to disclose, and she lost all the way to the Missouri Supreme Court. She has a record of losing in the courts, that's for sure. General Bailey, I want to ask about this. You mentioned earlier on about the whistleblower that came forward in one case. The collaboration that police, private institutions, whistleblowers can create to help you find and police for things. Tell if someone has a very serious concern and they want to get it into the system, what's the best way to work with you or downstream from you with the local police?
Well, first and foremost, check out our website, ago.mo.gov. We're going to have a hotline there for consumer protection issues. If you believe there's fraudulent or deceptive business practices, report those. We've got a do not call list you can register for. We've also got a hotline for where we see child abuse masquerading as transgender medication. And so we encourage parents to check that out. And at the end of the day, it's about empowering parents. Notify us if there are issues. We will do everything with our legal authority to protect children in the state of Missouri and to make sure that parents' rights are enforced.
Yeah, so important. You have led on the battle against TikTok. You joined 46 other states asking a court to order TikTok to comply with consumer protection law investigation. The role of social media, particularly liberal interest in social media to try to influence our children, may we reinforce some of those things that were going on in the school district. How big a concern is it the social media collaboration on some of the corrupting of our children?
Well, it's enormously concerning. And the fact that TikTok had refused to comply thus far with our consumer protection demands is troubling. But at the end of the day, we're going to enforce the laws as written and hold them accountable. But let me give you an intersection between two of the things you're talking about. In the whistleblower affidavit accusing the transgender clinic in St. Louis of child abuse, the whistleblower testifies under oath that the majority of kids that come in with gender dysphoria, in other words, kids that come into the clinic claiming, I don't know what gender I am, that they determine what their gender is based on TikTok. Think about that for a minute. Kids are learning about their gender from social media instead of biology and parenting. I mean, that's a scary world. So again, we've got to stand up and fight back and make sure parents have the tools and resources they need to parent their children and raise up the next generation. And it's about protecting the kids and empowering parents for me.
Yeah, that it is. One place that your office is also championed is protecting the rights of parents to go to school boards and express their opinion, try to get things changed at the school board level. Some of these school boards have tried to shut down parents. Talk a little bit about your defense of parents' First Amendment rights.
Well, I'm always going to stand up and protect parents' ability to engage in their child's education. I'm a parent of four. I'm a father of four. I'm a foster parent, adoptive parent. I know firsthand what it means to take care of children, and getting to be a dad's the best thing that ever happened to me. So I'm always going to fight for parents' rights. And I encourage parents to go onto our website. We have downloaded, or we have a resolution there on the website that I want parents to take to their school board. And based on what we saw in the Columbia Public Schools, I want you to download this resource. I want you to download this model resolution that we've drafted that's legal authority, take it to your school board meetings. And I encourage parents to encourage their school boards to adopt the resolution promising that they won't expose kids to drag shows. It doesn't matter that it's a G-rated drag show or an X-rated drag show. Drag shows are inherently sexualized performances. They have no place in education. And this resolution empowers parents to engage in their kids' education and go to the school board and make that demand.
That's amazing. All very useful tools for people who are very busy. You make it real easy for them to defend their rights. General Bailey, I've heard a lot of things all over this country, a lot of other states looking at what you're doing, seeing you in your state as a model for parental rights. It's a great honor to have you on the show today to get such a great update.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for everything you do for the people of the state of Missouri.
Yeah, we're greatly appreciative of your time today, sir. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages.